You know what time it is. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. What does Shabbat Shalom mean? It means Sabbath's peace, the peace of Sabbath. When you say Shabbat, that's the Sabbath. When you say Shalom, Shalom means peace, rest, take it easy, chill, all that is in Yahuwah, eternal peace. So I want to welcome you to this special Shabbat Shalom live stream. We're live here on Facebook. We're on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm getting dialed in as you come in. Hit the like button right away so that way we can crank up the algorithm to let more people know that we are here representing the mighty name of Yahuwah. Please hit the like button. Share this to 3 or 4 different platforms. When you're there, on your screen, you'll see a share button. And when you hit share, it usually gives you multiple options to share it. When you do that, you're being a witness for Yahuwah. Never take that for granted. So smash up the likes, smash up the shares, and we're going to be doing some wonderful teaching today on why the Sabbath is so important. So just drop in your name, your city and your country, or your name in your city and state. Name, city, and country. Name, city, and state. Give Yahuwah a shout out. Let Yahuwah know if you love him. That's going to let other people know that you love Yahuwah, that you're professing your allegiance to him and to him only as the Most High. There is no other deity. There is no other Elohim besides Yahuwah. None. Nobody else. So I'm getting dialed in over here while you guys come in. I see we've got some beautiful people here already. I'll be doing some shout outs as well. As soon as I get my other screen dialed in, I've got a couple key things I want to be talking to you about. One moment. Now we're ready to go. Good to see everybody. Big shout out to Leslie. I see Leslie's in the building. I see Suhey is in the building. I see Stephanie, our sister, is in the building. Apollonia, good to see you. Aaron, my man. Aaron just went bronze, by the way. Aaron just went bronze. I got to put Aaron up on the screen. There he is, Aaron Cruz. Started out with a $5 contribution to the tsnt.org project and just got more seed to sow. Aaron, all the way from Reading, Pennsylvania, says he loves Yahuwah. So proud of you, Aaron, for that statement that you made in the name of Yahuwah. Way to go. Let's keep it rocking here. We got Donna Steele. Donna Steele says, Shabbat Shalom, my beloved family. Donna from Collinswood, New Jersey. She says, I'm one of the 144 in Yahuwah. I love Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Listen, are you one of those 144? So we know we're going to 144,000, but Yahuwah, I'm serious about this. I've been following this since 2007 when I found the name of Yahuwah. There's probably not 144 people on the earth now that's got Yahuwah as their main priority with the right word. That's how serious it is. So I'm bold when I say Yahuwah is looking for the right 144 first, then we go get the 144,000. That's what I'm talking about. Lady Rachel says that I love Yahuwah. Look at that. Lady Rachel says, I love Yahuwah. Isn't it good to be able to see that? Big shout out to Leslie. Look, coming in from Canada. We got Leslie. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, coming in from Canada. We got Marquise is here. Yeah. I love it. Look, we got who we got? We got Ebony and Joe. So we got Joe and Ebony Carden all the way from Colorado. And they say they love. This is a married couple, says they love Yahuwah. Yes, we got our sister, the incredible Sherry Harrod, Frankfort, Kentucky. She says, I love Yahuwah, sending everybody Shabbat Shalom out there. Our incredible platinum. That's Sherry's platinum, Sherry Harrod. Then another one of our platinum package members over at tsnt.org, Mrs. Yamani Thomas, says Shabbat Shalom, Raleigh, North Carolina. So she loves Yahuwah. We got Nancy Bellinger up in Ontario, Canada, representing. I love it. Hold on. We got Tiffany Hinton coming in from Jackson, Mississippi. Tiffany says, I love Yahuwah, sends everybody a Shabbat Shalom. Yes. We got Luya coming in here all the way from Melbourne, Florida. I'm loving it. Just watching everybody that's coming in, sending your shout outs. We're throwing several of you up on the screen. And guess what? Thousands and thousands of people are going to see this over time. So this is evergreen. This goes down in history. Look at here. All right, Stephanie. I think Stephanie's out in Hawaii, if I'm correct. If I'm not mistaken, says we love Yahuwah. I love it. Yeah. Who else loves Yahuwah? Anybody else loves Yahuwah? Anybody else loving Yahuwah? Anybody else? All right. Look at this. A lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Michael says, I love Yahuwah. Michael Tornabin says, I love Yahuwah. Yeah. Hold on, Blake. Blake Bernay said, look, 144, Curtistown, Hawaii. Yeah, he said, I love Yahuwah. See? Look at that representation. Who else we got on here? Jesse Gillespie says, we love Yahuwah from Jeremiah and Jesse from Clarksville, Tennessee, part of the 144. Hold on now. We got Mike and Brenda Cruz. Mike and Brenda said 2 of the 144. They say they're taking 2 slots down. Yahuwah says, I'm looking for my 144. And they said, well, we'll take 2 slots, please. We'll take 2 slots. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love when all of you gear up and you go in. It means the world to everybody out there. So again, Shabbat Shalom to everybody. I just want to welcome you. I hope you're having a wonderful Sabbath rest. You should be chilling. You should not be conducting business. If you're listening to me and you're out and about driving, you are out of pocket. That means you're against the commandments. You need to do a beeline, take your tail back home and go rest and stop breaking the Shabbat because Yahuwah is serious about this. Scott Harris is in the building. Hey, y'all should go over on Scott's Facebook page. I want everybody to go. Scott, drop your Facebook link, your page link in the chat, Scott, if you don't mind. Drop your Facebook page link in the chat. I want everybody to go over and friend Scott on Facebook. Scott has been my best friend for over 28 years. 28 years. And he will tell you, I will never force you. I will never try to manipulate you and none of that. I found Yahuwah in 2007. Of course, I told my best friend right away. Over these years, I've just been sharing. I let him know that Yahuwah is calling him. But Scott did something for the first time I've seen him do it. He made a post today on his Facebook page, and it's got a lot of reaction, where he said he gave his personal witness that he loves Yahuwah. He said he didn't come to that through any church. He said his parents didn't teach him that. He said from a personal experience and from what he has felt personally from Yahuwah. Everybody go over to Scott's Facebook page and y'all comment. And if Scott can't get a link, you put it in there. Somebody put that in there because I want y'all to go over to Scott's Facebook page. I'm going to find it myself, because I think it's important that we witness. Because what we notice, I don't know, Scott, if you noticed this, people are watching us. Like for real, for real. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can get Scott's page over here myself and give it to the team. People are like watching us for real, for real. Yeah, I found it. I'm going to probably let's see if I beat Scott. We always having a good time with that. There it is. Lena's got it in there. All right. So the promote the true chat. I want everybody to go friend Scott. Facebook friend him. He'll accept your friend request. Okay. And then I want you to look at the post he did. And then I want you to pay attention to the reaction. The reason this is important, because Scott and I built big businesses together over the years. We've done so many things together. We've traveled the world together. It's been amazing, the things we've been able to do. Well, Scott, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but there are multiple people that are commenting and see this code now. The way we teach Hebrew, Abari, is we're teaching the correct spelling. And we don't know of anybody in the world that's properly spelling the Hebrew words the right way, just using the alphabet. So the true Hebrew alphabet. See, because of the vowel pointing with the Masoretes, and because of Judaism, because everybody thinks that the people that are speaking the language over there in Israel now have got the authentic language. It's not. That language they're speaking in Israel right now is not the authentic Hebrew language. It's a distorted language. It's full of vowel points to get you, and the whole purpose of it is to get you not to say the name Yahuwah. They don't want you to say it. They consider it blasphemy. Jermaine in the building with the special gift for the storehouse today. Love you, Jermaine. Gave a special super gift. See, that's one thing you can contribute to the storehouse on the Shabbat. So we love that, Jermaine. Thank you so much for that $50 contribution to the storehouse of Yahuwah. But that's right. Yahuwah 144 got it. It's a Yiddish. Look at it. Yiddish. Gibberish. Doesn't that sound close like gibberish? Yahuwah 144. Who is Yahuwah 144K? Put your name in there. I'm trying to figure out who that is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Leslie said this whole Shabbat. Daniel Bakote said kingdom business. With a contribution to the kingdom. Love you, Daniel. Hey, Daniel, people going crazy over your live you did with us. Oh, by the way, tomorrow we're doing another telethon. We're not doing it on Sunday because it's New Moon Day. So we're going to do it on tomorrow on Saturday. We'll post that later today. So it's going to be telethon, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. Me and my incredible wife, Lena Nolan, are going to be doing it again, 3 sessions tomorrow. But listen, I want y'all to go over and friend Scott. And what did you notice, Scott? That there were people, they were commenting, hallelujah. There were people saying, because Scott says, I love Yahuwah. He said, this is who I'm represented by as the creator of all. Matter of fact, I might get what Scott posted. I might get what you posted, Scott, before I go into this message today. Because we're chilling. It's a Shabbat. We ain't in no rush, right? You ain't got nowhere to go. I ain't got anywhere to go. I'm at home, right? But I want y'all to notice how impactful this social media thing can be with your witness. I want y'all to notice it. You don't know who's watching you, but they are watching you. And that's a fact. The people that you think might not be watching you, they are watching you, and they're watching your life and your witness. Okay. Yeah. Now, Scott, it was simple. He did this 4 hours ago. He says, I believe in our creator. His name is Yahuwah, the creator of all. My belief in him is not based on what I was taught by my parents or church, but from feeling his existence in my life personally. Right now, he's got 45 likes on there. Everybody should go over there and give it a love. Not only give it a love. He's got 12 comments. Now, what I noticed, Scott, I don't know if you picked it up, but there are people, they don't come on these lives. They haven't said a thing to me or to Scott. And me and Scott know them directly. And they are spelling out Hebrew words. The only way that is spelled out correctly we've seen thus far is the way we're spelling it. So I know that they're watching what we're doing. And big shout out to you. Because you're probably watching me say, I know you're watching, because I'm watching how you put in hallelujah. And you spell it the right way. I'm watching how you are witness. And there's people. Look at that, Scott. It was multiple people. Scott, did you notice it? It was multiple people. Scott, I'd like to know if my Annette Green in with the contribution to the kingdom today. Thank you, my sister, my beautiful sister Annette. Scott, would you like to come on this live? If you'd like to come on the live, send me a message, Scott, and I'll send you a link. If you want to come on and give a shout out there, but it's up to you. I don't know, where you're at as far as in your house and all that kind of stuff. But if you'd like to come on this live, Scott, I got my phone over here. You can send me a message and I'll send you a link to come in and say hello to everybody, because your simple witness has got all this reaction that fast from people that have not said nothing to me and Scott. They haven't said anything. I'll give you, so Scott gives that simple message. Somebody says, hallelujah. Another person that we know that follows us around on social media says, absolutely, hallelujah. Then we got people we know said, hallelujah. Then somebody else just said, I recently just learned his real name. It's an incredible story. Then somebody says, so agree. Somebody that works closely with us, but has never said nothing to me or Scott. They have never said anything. All right, Scott said he'll come on and say, would y'all like to hear from Scott real quick? I'm going to send him a link. He said he'd be glad to come on. Let me get the link for you, brother. Let me get the link. I think this is cool. You never know what we're going to do. Hey, it's Shabbat. We ain't got nowhere to go. Let me just make sure I got it. All right, sending it to you now, Scotty. In about 15 seconds, you'll have it. And then we'll have a special guest on, because I think a lot of people think they got to be prime and prim and proper. And YAHUAH just sitting back going, I just want you to be real. That's what YAHUAH said. He just said, I would like it if you would just be real. All right, Scott, you got the link. That'll bring you in here with me. All right. He just said, I want you to be real. I want you to just be authentic. Right? Look at this. Look at that. Robert Renson. He said, come on, Scott. Robert's down in Portugal. I love it. 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 All right, here goes some more comments. I got a great lesson for y'all today, by the way. I got a great lesson. But this other person that works closely with us just never says nothing. Does a lot of business with me and Scott. Right? I'm bringing Scott in right now. Scotty! Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
All right. Listen, this is amazing. So, first and foremost, what made you do the post today? I've never seen you post nothing on your open page. And maybe tell your story about, since we've been together 28 years, have I ever tried to shove stuff down your throat? I don't know. Just give us a real story, Scott, from your heart. Just whatever YAHUAH brings on your heart.
All right. Well, I don't know what it was. Today, I just said, I've been following YAHUAH for a long time now. And I think it's time that I posted something on my page so that people that are familiar with me, that don't know the name, right? Because I see all these things posted all the time, Jay. And people can only post what they know. Right. So they say, I love God. God's in my life. God is always with me. And it just turns me off to see the word now. It turns me off. So I said, I can't just be turned off by it. I've got to put it out there so that these people have the opportunity to learn what it is, or that's on me. So I just saw a post this morning and the G word was all up in it. And I said, no, I've got to do this, And to tell a little bit of the story, Jay and I, we met many, many years ago in business. And it didn't take long after we met. We just realized we were a lot alike and we had a lot of similar beliefs. And, Jay was one of the most inspiring and fired up people, I'm talking about 24/7, that I'd ever met. And one thing you might know about business, if you want to get better at something, you got to be around people that are better than the ones you've been around before, right? You can only learn so much from those people. You got to find someone that knows more than you do, that knows more than your friends know. And Jay was just fired up. He knew the company I was in. He knew way more about it than anybody else I'd ever been around. So I said, I'm going to follow this guy, see what he does. And before you know it, we actually became friends. Within 6 months or so, a year, we were actually sharing apartments in different cities together. And so we became really close. And there was plenty of times during all those years that both of us had the opportunity to, I guess you would say, screw each other over. And we never did it. Right. And a lot of my other friends, if they ever had the chance, they would. So Jay and I just got closer and closer. And then eventually that company went out of business. And, Jay went his way, I went my way, but we stayed in touch. I got in the oil and gas business. Jay opened several other businesses. Some of them just got ridiculously huge. I was watching and going, my goodness, maybe I shouldn't have went my own way back then. That would have been a fun ride. But then I remember getting an email from Jay that was almost like getting a small book in an email. And it was about YAHUAH. He had found YAHUAH. He had been studying it for years. He'd been searching, and he wrote this letter. And I had a feeling this wasn't just to me. He sent this to a lot of people that he knew really well to give them the opportunity to learn more. Now, during the course of my life, there's been plenty of people that at one time or another approached me about religion. But generally, when someone is as deep in it as Jay was when he sent me this email, they won't leave you alone about it. They start hounding you. And every time you see them, inviting you to, their church or whatever it might be. And I used to call them holy rollers. Because all of a sudden, they used to be this one guy, and all of a sudden they got the Holy Ghost or whatever they believed in their spirit. And then they just, every time they saw you, they didn't know how to ease in and try to invite you and, and get you in. It was just like, bam, every time they saw you, bam. And so I just got turned off by a lot of people that acted that way, right? But Jay wasn't like a different guy all of a sudden. He was the same guy, just explaining some things in an email. He didn't call me up and tell me I was going to hell if I didn't pay attention to his email. He didn't call me 20 times in the next month and try to, give me all his vision. But whenever we would talk, every now and then, Jay would bring up Yahuwah's name. And he even said to me one time years ago, I just want to make sure you know that the Creator's name is Yahuwah. It's not God or Lord or none of those things. I went and did I went and spent all those years studying this. His name is Yahuwah. And so you need to know that. And I was extremely happy that he shared that with me. I never doubted it. One thing I will tell you about Jay, when he does things, he doesn't do anything a fourth of the way or halfway or even 90% of the way. If he decides to do something, he goes all in. So I knew he went all in on learning about the scriptures and learning the truth. I knew he went all in. I can't even imagine how much money he spent through the years studying about the origin of words and the languages and getting all these, I'm talking about, I guess you would call them scrolls, or what would you call them, Jay?
Yeah, all these texts.
I'm talking about some of the oldest texts on the planet.
God,
He got copies of.
you've seen them too, right? From in my house, haven't you?
Absolutely. And so, but the cool part about it was he never beat me over the head with it. It was just always, every now and then, a little invitation. Hey, you're welcome to learn more. If you ever want to know more, let me know. One day he gave me a copy of a book. I believe it's called The Scriptures, right? And he said, hey, this is the truth in a book, it tells the truth. And so I gave it to my wife, and we started looking it over and everything. So it's just been a joy even to this day. Every now and then, Jay brings it up, something else to me about it every now and then, and says, hey, if you ever want to get more involved in this, just let me know. And then he lets it go. He didn't say you should go on Facebook and make a post, right? He didn't say you should tell every one of your friends the real name. He's just always been there to remind me who the Creator really is, who the Savior really is, and that really it is our job to get that word out there.
Now, Scott, you gave me a call, probably about 3 weeks or so ago, because you saw that Lena had encouraged me to start going live, because I wasn't doing lives with Promote the Truth until like a few months ago.
Yep.
And then we put the Telegram group together, which is, within the last few months. And then you joined the Telegram group, and then you started checking in on the lives. And then you called me and said, I got to talk to you about what I'm seeing here. Would you explain to folks, what did you notice from your viewpoint that happened? Because I've been on this trail since 2007. But what did you notice, Scott?
Well, really, I remember telling my wife, Carolina, I said, I know Jay already knew this, but I just realized Jay has actually found his true calling in life. He found it a long time ago, but now he's just following that path more and more and more. It's just the happiest I've ever seen Jay. And Jay's not a happy person. He's a happy person, but that's just the happiest I've seen him since I've known him. And I feel like this is where Jay should have been all along. Now, for the last 2 or 3 years, we've been having these type of discussions, but it was just with a little small group of us, 8, 10, 12 people on the phone at the most. And we were doing these studies. And, Jay, when I say studies, Jay was talking and sharing with us, and we might say a little bit, but mostly it was Jay teaching us more about Yahuwah and all these different parts of it, like the Sabbath and why it's important, and, different, what do you call it, Jay, when you go out and stay in the woods and
all the feasts and the festival.
The festivals, yeah. So
Right.
Jay would teach us about the festivals and how they're supposed to work and things like that. I mean, people just don't know that. I've never heard anything about any of that in my entire life.
Wow.
So, and like I said, we were studying this for a few years, and then all of a sudden I'm like, this really needs to be, the world needs to have access to this. And take my word for it. Right now, there's a lot of people involved in watching these and watching the recordings. but there's not even a drop in the bucket of what there's going to be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. This is a following of people all following Yahuwah that are going to it's going to snowball. Now's the time. When Jay first found Yahuwah's name on the internet, you couldn't hardly find it anywhere. He just got lucky and found it one time. And now, as you can see, it's everywhere. I see all that. Now, once I got involved with Yahuwah and with Jay on Facebook, I started getting these potential friends. You know, they pop up and say, people you might know. And I'll be like, Billy Yahuwah Jackson. Wait a minute. What? You know, I get all these, the word Yah is in so many names. And I'm like,
I mean, Scott, from 2007, when I first told you, you couldn't, everybody got to understand this. Scott's another witness. If you put his name in Google, nothing came up.
That's right.
And so, Scott, for you to start to see it, and you see it at friends, and y'all, I mean, what's that doing? What's it doing? What do you tell people what you feel is coming?
It's just telling me that the word is getting out, right? I mean, everybody has the opportunity to know now. See, in the past, if nobody knew and nobody was there to tell them, right? Because the name was put away for a reason many, many years ago that I understand now after listening to Jay. Yep. And at one point, nobody really knew what it was anymore. Everybody got so comfortable just saying the God or Lord or whatever they wanted to say, they just forgot about it. But now the name has been reawakened, and this is just not because I just love Jay and he's my buddy, because he is. I love the guy. But because I believe a lot because of what Jay did back in 2007 and everything in between helped get this word out there. And some of the people Jay's met along the way, they encouraged him, he encouraged them, and now the word is out. It's out. So one thing I love about this, Jay, I'm going to tell you what I love the most about it. There is no arguing with it. You know, like sometimes people will go, well, you know, you can believe what you want, but, you know, I went to school to be a pastor, or I went to this theology school, or I don't care what you went to, man. Doesn't matter. If you go out and find the oldest word ever written in ancient Hebrew, and it says it's Yahuwah and Yahusha, right? Then that's what it is.
That's right.
Something that was written a few hundred or a few thousand years later doesn't change the fact of what the real name is. It is what it is. The scriptures are what they are. You know, somebody rewrote this and called it like, what was it? The
Bible.
The new version of the Bible, yep. Right? What do you call it? The St. James version?
Yeah, you got the King James, you got the NIV.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. So are you going to tell me they had a version, and then somebody didn't like that version, so they wrote a new version?
Hey, Daniel Bacote here with the super. Nico, thank you, Daniel. Nico. That's funny, Scott. Like, oh, I don't like that version. I'm going to do my version. What do you think about that thought process of all these versions, Scott?
I just don't get it. You know, especially when you look at the older version, right? It was a lot more direct. You know, it was like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, right? They'll smite you. And all of a sudden the new version was like, turn the other cheek. And, you know, and I'm like, wait a minute. And Jay, you and I, we've talked about this before, about a lot of things that seem to be very different in the King James versus the Old Testament.
Right, right.
And these are some of the things that led you to ask questions many, many years ago. And you didn't like the answers you were getting from people that were just saying, just let it go, let it be. It is. No, it ain't no, it is what it is. You can't let it go and let it be. It is what it began as.
That's right.
It doesn't change.
Hold on. Did y'all catch what he said? It is what it began as. Yahuwah doesn't change. I like that, Scott.
Right. He don't change. I mean, and history don't change. Now, somebody might try to wipe out history, right? But history's not going to change. In 1776, what happened? We fought the Revolutionary War. You can take it out of the history books.
Yeah.
But guess what? In 1776, that war was fought.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Back in the day, the scripture was written based on Yahuwah.
Yes.
And they can work and try to fix it and change it and update it and do whatever they want. That it's not the real scripture
So
anymore.
what did you think, Scott, with me? You know me and all the close time we spent together, and you kept hearing me, and you've seen all these boxes and all these things. I've got all these different versions.
Yep.
And then you would hear me go, no, that's not written right, because I got the originals over here. Scott, it says it this way. And then finally you heard me a few years ago, Scott, I say, Scott, because you were one of the first people to know. I said, I feel Yahuwah is calling me and the team to actually translate the whole scriptures from front to back. What did you think when I said that to you, Scott?
I got to tell you, it was mind blowing. It boggled my mind. I'm like, translate the whole scriptures from start to finish.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Right. But then I thought to myself, if there's anybody that would really do it right, take the time, make sure it was 100% correct, it would be you, in my opinion. And you know what? Things happen in our life that made it time more available to do that with you.
It's like, because me and Scott have had to go through a ton of persecution together, because we've had all these, we've had a lot of business success. Isn't it almost like Yahuwah says, I'm going to allow these different persecutions to happen to you because I need this done.
That's
What do
right.
you think about that? Now that
That's
me and you
what
got to see and everything, what do you think?
that's exactly what I was thinking the other day. Like, would Jay have been doing what you're doing right now 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago or longer ago, if it wasn't for just life was always in the way, business was growing, business was falling. You got to stay in the, everybody gets in the groove, man. They can't get out. Then all of a sudden we get out of that groove. And then, like I said, my friend found his calling, his true calling in life. And it made me very happy. I mean, you don't know how warm it's made me feel for the last the last few years, but really in the last 2 or 3 months, I'm just like, you know what? And I'll be admit, I don't get on every time Jay does or promote the truth live, or, I mean, I just can't. I got a lot of things going on like everybody else, but I often watch them after the fact. When everybody else is getting ready to go to bed, I go in and listen here when I can, listen when I can there. But like today, I said, you know what? I'm going to go in here and see what they're talking about today. I'm not going to listen to it later. Today's Shabbat. So I'm going to go in and listen today.
That is absolutely great. Now, last thing, but I'll let you get off, then I'm going to teach a great lesson for everybody today. So you do this post, you've seen a lot of these people. We know them. They never said, have they said something to you about they following Yahuwah? Because I never heard them say nothing.
Most of them, no. Some of them, I've actually talked to them on the phone in the last 2 or 3 years, and I've said something about it, But the majority of them, like 99% of them, I had no idea.
And they come on and they're like, all these different hallelujah, and they spelling it the right way. That must mean they must be watching, Scott. Because
They're
you're starting to
watching.
post videos and stuff. Is that what you're picking up?
They're watching and following, man, because there's no way they would be spelling things the correct way. Because even just like saying Shabbat Shalum the right way and spelling it the
Yes.
right way, in the beginning, I looked at that. I said, that's not spelled right. And then I said, wait a minute. No. That is spelled right. Everybody else is spelling it wrong. You don't change those things.
Like our good friend Lily all the way from Canada, one of the top, personal growth coaches in the world. On your post, she puts, "I so agree. When we repel the indoctrination and go within, it's a personal journey. We experience Him and the truth."
Yep.
Dang, Scott. Dang, Scott. Hey, you
Well,
saw I went in there and dropped the name video in your spread.
absolutely. I actually replied to it a minute ago, too. You see what I said? Everybody should watch this.
Oh, this is good. See, you gonna be the witness. Y'all gotta make up your mind. Scotty, thank you so much for dropping in, brother. Shabbat shalom to you, your beautiful wife. Love you with all my soul, brother. I'm so glad to see Yahuwah working with you, doing what you do, because I believe He sent me to you, and I believe He sent you to me. And we stand back to back for eternity. I know this man loves Yahuwah. He's called on His name, and I'm watching Yahuwah make you stronger and stronger. And that's going to get into your whole house. So any parting words you want to say to anybody about what you keep seeing on Telegram and all these messages before you get out of here?
I don't have any major words other than there is only one, and it's up to us to share it. If we don't share it with people, how are they going to know? right? We can't be embarrassed to share or too shy to share. You know, you don't have to go out there and beat the drum and walk around all day saying Yahuwah, Yahuwah. But when you get the opportunity to talk to somebody, especially one-on-one, people that you really know, and say, hey, I'm going to send you a video from Promote the Truth, and it's about the real name, like who the real creator is. I just want you to watch that video, and then, you know, let me know what you think of the video. I'm not going to keep repeating myself to you, but I want you to have that opportunity to hear the truth at least once in your life.
That's awesome. Love you, Scotty. Thanks for dropping
Love
in,
you, my
brother.
brother.
That's
You.
awesome, man. Hey, y'all drop it in the comments. Everybody says Scott some love. Show him how much you appreciate him coming in, sharing his sincere testimony about his experience and how he's got here. Everybody got these different angles. Yahuwah uses us in all kind of different ways. But I want everybody here, will y'all please show Scott Harris some love for him coming in here on Shabbat and just, you know, just sharing his heart. I just think, and then I want everybody to go over to his Facebook page and make sure, just please, just go leave a comment. Y'all want to really get a big witness out there? Just go to Scott's Facebook page, and if y'all just leave a comment, and I'm going to give you his page again, and then we'll get on with the lesson. And if you just comment on what he posted on his last post, then it's going to be amazing. It's going to get a lot of attention. I promise you, you can give a big old witness. If you go over right now, we just dropped his Facebook page there over on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. And if you just go over to Scott's Facebook and just put something like, hey, love you, I love Yahuwah, whatever Yahuwah puts you to say, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. Thank you to everybody who's dropped in some supers too and did some contributions. We know we got tsnt.org, which is critical, but I'm going to teach you something about why the Sabbath is so important. Why the Sabbath is so important. Now pay attention, because I'm going into the truth scriptures. And I'm going to teach you, I'm going to read scriptures from the true scriptures. And I'm telling you right now, as you've heard some of this, but there's new people coming in, and there's people that are down kind of being immersed in the Yahuwah, and this word is becoming more and more alive to you. So when I go into the true scriptures, to the very first book, which we're getting ready to gear up soon and put up on the digital collection, but I'm in Barashiyt chapter 1. That's Genesis. So Genesis, that's Barashiyt chapter 1. Okay. As a matter of fact, before I go to Barashiyt chapter 1, no. I'm going to go to Shamut. Shamut is the real name for Exodus. I'm going to go to Shamut chapter 31. And this is out of the true scripture. So I'm going to chapter 31 of Shamut. Let me get over there. And I'm going to tell you why this is so important. Thank you, Sister Leslie, or Brother Leslie. I'm talking, is Leslie brother or sister? Drop that in there. I want to make sure that name goes both ways, but I see you and I appreciate you. All right, I'm going to 31, and then I'm going to start at verse 12. Now, Yahuwah is going to tell us why the Shabbat's so important. And me and my dad were discussing this morning here in Colombia. My dad's visiting us here in South America, in Colombia. That's where we're coming in live from today. And I'm telling you, you can't be more crystal clear than what Yahuwah said. So in Shamut, which is Exodus chapter 31, verse 12, then Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Yisrael, saying, now who's Yisrael? You got to make a decision. Once you decide to call on and call on the name of Yahuwah and follow him, you become Yisrael. That's Yahuwah's city. That's his people. So he says, speak to the children of Yisrael, saying, my Shabbats, my Sabbaths, you are to guard by all means. Now, what does that mean, family? Huh? What does that mean when Yahuwah says, and my Shabbats, my Sabbaths, you are to guard by all means? For it is a sign between me and you, my people, throughout your entire generations, to know that I, Yahuwah am setting you apart. Everybody pick that up? So Yahuwah said the purpose of you guarding my Shabbats is for everybody in the world to know that you are set apart. You're different. You're in this world, but you're not part of this world. You're just in it, but not of it. Now watch what he says in verse 14. And notice he's going to repeat himself multiple times here. And you shall guard the Shabbat because it is set apart to you. Everyone that violates the Shabbat shall surely be put to death. Okay, he says if you violate and do any work on the Shabbat, you are dead. You are going into the lake. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Because Yahuwah said it. He doesn't lie. He doesn't change. And he told us how long we got to do this. It's going to happen throughout your entire generations. Has generations stopped yet? No. Now he comes back and says, whoever does any work on it, that person shall be cut off from among their people. 6 days work is to be done. But the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest, set apart to Yahuwah. Whoever does any work on the Shabbat day shall certainly be put to death. Now, he done repeated that 2 or 3 times. He done said it 2 or 3 times about you're dead if you do anything on the Shabbat. He goes, because it's set apart and it's a sign. Now, watch this. And the children of Yisrael shall guard the Shabbat to observe the Shabbat forever throughout their generations as an everlasting covenant. Y'all tell me what forever and everlasting means. Y'all tell me what that means. Put it in the chat, right? Put it in the chat what everlasting means and throughout all generations and forever. What's forever and everlasting mean, right? Now he puts a stamp on it, right? He puts a stamp on it. Are you ready? For in 6 days, Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth. And on the 7th day, he rested and was refreshed. So Yahuwah says, the reason I'm doing this because y'all going to follow what I did. And when he had completed speaking to him, Masha, on Mount Sinai, y'all want to know how important this is? When he had finished speaking to him, he gave Masha the 2 stone tablets of the covenant witness, the 10 commandments, which were written with the finger of Yahuwah himself. Wait a minute. Did y'all see what just happened? Huh? Wow. This is like blazing, right? Blazing. Blazing. It's so clear how important the Shabbat is. So why is the Sabbath so important? Because Yahuwah says it's eternal, it's everlasting, and whoever does any work on it, they will be cut off and they will be killed. They'll be thrown into the lake. That's how serious Yahuwah is about it. He wants it to be a distinguisher. So my dad, me and him, he highly respects the name of Yahuwah. He's gearing, I'm watching him. He told me yesterday, he said, I was in the mirror 3 or 4 times talking to Yahuwah. He says, because I'm getting myself straight before him. And we walked through it. And we went through each commandment. I said, these commandments are not hard, Dad. He goes, they're not. I said, let's go through any ones that you might have a difficulty with. And the ones that he would have a difficulty with are the same ones that everybody in the world will have a difficulty with. After you get past the name, of course. The name is the number one thing. Once you accept Yahuwah's name, which nothing matters unless you do that, now you're dealing with primarily, can you keep the 4th commandment, the Shabbat, based upon his timekeeping system, not based upon yours. Because he said, keep the seventh day set apart. He didn't say keep every 7 days. He didn't say continually every 7 days keep the Sabbath. He said keep the seventh day. And the way you know how to tell the seventh day is by when a new moon starts the new month. This is simple. It ain't even hard, right? That's how we know how to keep track of time, because he told us in Barashiyt, which I'm about to read, how we're to keep track of time. Only we as human beings can make this difficult. YAHUAH has made this simple. Okay, so this is very simple. So my dad, we walk down through it, and then we get down. He says, I don't got no problem with the first. First commandment, YAHUAH, have no other Elohim before me, not before my face, none. That I ain't got a problem with that. I know YAHUAH is the Most High. Do you have any problem with images? You got to have crosses and fish and all, and Christmas trees and Easter bunny. Nope, my dad got no problem with that. Can you keep his name as the most important name ever? No problem with that. Will you say it, proclaim it? Yes. Fourth one, Shabbat. Because my dad has a big farm. He raises a big garden. I mean, he has like a couple acres of gardens, and he sells a lot of vegetables in the farmers markets. And what's one of the biggest days? Sometimes it falls on, right, the Shabbat. So you never know, because the Shabbat is set every month based on the new moon. And sometimes your busiest work days will fall on the Shabbat. And if you do any work on it, YAHUAH says, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to put you, you're going to be put to death. There you go. So you got to make your decision about, am I going to honor the Shabbat? And what you do is you say, YAHUAH, give me work to do. Give me methods of making money that will not cause me to break the Shabbat. And he will do it. YAHUAH for a fact will do it. You don't make YAHUAH fit into your work. You make your work fit into YAHUAH. That's it. End of story. If you can't do it, you're not one of his people. You're not set apart. Me and my dad went through that clearly. He says, I got it. I understand it, and I know what to do. Fifth one, honor your mother and father. I said, well, my grandparents, they're gone now, but you were always respectful to them. Do you honor them now? Yes. All right. And the best way you can honor them is to follow YAHUAH. That's the best honor you can do for your parents. Okay? Number 6, you got a problem murdering people. He said, no. It doesn't say don't kill, because you got to defend yourself. You can protect yourself. You got to kill somebody by defending yourself. All right. But you don't get up and say, I'm taking this life just because I want to take somebody's life. You got a problem with it? He goes, heck no. And all of y'all are saying, heck no, I ain't got no problem with that. All right, here goes another big one for y'all. The 7th one. So the 4th and the 7th one, once you get past the name of YAHUAH, then the 4th and the 7th are what's going to check you to your spirit. And if you follow him, he will make these 2 easy for you. If you stay in your flesh, these 2 will be hard for you. The 7th says, do not commit adultery. Y'all want to crack up? My dad grabbed his head. He's 76 years old. But he looks like he's in his 50s, right? And he got energy all get out. And he said, that's the one. I've been talking to YAHUAH about the woman that I really want to be with, because he's been in multiple different relationships over these years. I said, Dad, let me explain adultery. Because most people they don't understand what adultery is per YAHUAH. Adultery deals with one YAHUAH to another YAHUAH. Only followers of YAHUAH is what this is talking about. Everybody go like this. The only people YAHUAH is talking about with adultery is a person that's of YAHUAH to another person that's of YAHUAH. You cannot, under any circumstances, sleep with a person that is not following YAHUAH. That is adultery. Does that make it simple enough for y'all? And that also puts many of you in a predicament. Did you hear what I just said? You have no excuse from this day forward, because I just told you what adultery is. Adultery is if you sleep, if you have sexual intercourse with another person that does not follow Yahuwah, you have therefore broken the seventh commandment and you are in adultery. And you will not see the kingdom of Yahuwah in adultery. Wow. Wow. What y'all gonna do with that? I said, if you love Yahuwah, Yahuwah will bring you the right person. Somebody says, I found Yahuwah, and and my partner is not accepting Yahuwah. Okay. If you sleep with that partner, even if it's your quote earthly husband or earthly wife, after you've called and found Yahuwah and been immersed into his name, if they don't do it, you have committed adultery. This is deep. I gotta admit, this is deep. But guess what? It's very simple. It's very cut dry. It's very cut clean and dry. You don't even have to worry about it. Because Yahuwah is not focused on everybody else out there like y'all think. Y'all think he honors people that are married that don't call on his name. Yahuwah is not paying attention to those people. They're not going into the kingdom. Matter of fact, he's prepared the lake of fire for those people. He does not care about anybody else in regards to his 10 commandments. We got to come into his 10 commandments. The 10 commandments don't have to come in and mesh into our life. We got to come into alignment with his commandments, his law. So make up your mind. Are you going to keep the seventh commandment or not? Are you going to live in sin or not? Somebody says, what do I do? I'm in a relationship now with somebody. They don't call on Yahuwah. Thank you, Sister Annette. She's sowing into the kingdom. Now watch. You got to make up your mind. Choose this day who you're going to serve. Yahushua HaMashiach, when he was here, when the people said, let me go back and say goodbye to my mama or my dad or whatever, he said, let the dead bury the dead. Yahuwah's not playing with this. He's not going to mess around with you and all your excuses. He ain't going to mess around with none of this. All right, some of y'all getting off topic in here. Marquise and a couple of y'all getting off topic. Y'all talking about Yahweh. Look, Yahweh's pagan. It's impossible to be the name of the creator. So that's even a dumb conversation to have, especially at this time. Like if y'all don't understand to go to promote the truth, click on 4 indisputable facts. It will teach you beyond a shadow of a doubt. His name is Yahuwah. If you believe that it's Yahweh, then you now denounce Alleluia. It's impossible to get Alleluia in Yahweh. Done. Yeah, that means you don't believe in Yahudah. That believes you don't believe in Yeshayahu, because it's not Yeshayahu. It's not Yeshayahu. It's not Alleluia. It's Alleluia. So if you take that ooh out, now you are denouncing and you are following the Yahudim, or from the synagogue of Satan, who say they are Yahudim, but are not. So I kept clear that up. It's nonsense. And all you got to do is go over. But stay on topic. Focus. Y'all got to learn how to focus with Yahuwah. I'm on the 7th commandment, and it's so deep that people start getting distracted. Y'all pick it up? Because maybe you ain't in the right relationship. Y'all better make your mind up on this, because my dad, he said, all right, I know what I got to do. Yahuwah will bring you the person. All right, Jermaine said, if for someone who's single, they have no right to sexual activity unless that act is met. Absolutely. If you're single, you better not have sex with somebody that's not, and when you have sex with them, that becomes your spouse. The certificate helps you here with the earthly stuff, but the intercourse makes them your wife or your husband. That's what happens. So if you get all caught up and you get all passionate and you finally got with somebody and they called on the name of Yahuwah, and you called on the name of Yahuwah, and y'all want to walk with Yahuwah together, right? You want to know how to get married? Go in the bedroom. Have sex with each other. You are now husband and wife. I now pronounce you husband and wife in the kingdom of Yahuwah. There you go. Plain, simple. Now you want to take care of your earthly stuff to be able to have all your benefits and whatever comes along with it. Go on down and get your piece of paper. Have your ceremony if you want, all of that. Marriage is when you have intercourse with that person. Period. How y'all doing with this? I mean, is this helping? Because this is the conversation me and my dad had. And this is all dealing with the Shabbat, because I told you that why is the Sabbath so important? Now, what I found is when a person calls on the name of Yahuwah and they get committed to keeping the Sabbath, Yahuwah will give them the right partner so that they will not violate 7. It's kind of like he just checks it down in the line. He goes, go ahead and go right down the line and get every one of these in order, and I will make sure you have your soulmate. You want your soulmate? You want somebody to have guilt-free sex with? Fulfill all of your desires. That person will turn you out. Some of y'all ain't even experienced sex right yet. Y'all haven't experienced what Yahuwah made it to be for. Like he created to be a beautiful thing for those that follow him. But do not go after another one. That's why he warned them. Every time he gave them up, most of it had to deal with adultery. They ran after other mighty ones. They went after other women in other countries. They went after other men. That is something you got to get straight. So if you get the 4th one right, you got the strength to get the 7th one right. Okay? Now the 8th one, it shouldn't be no big deal for you because you just don't steal. You want something that somebody else has, work for it. The 9th one, don't bear false witness against your neighbor. This is another big one. Who is your neighbor? Who is your neighbor? Yahuwah's not talking about this world with these commandments. Yahuwah's talking about other Yahuwah followers. So those who follow Yahuwah, that becomes your neighbor. That becomes your neighbor. Somebody posted, I'm married, they don't call on Yahuwah. Then don't you sleep with that person again. Watch how quick it's hard to get past the 7th one, ain't it? Watch how quick the decisions get made in that house if you take the sex out of it. And that said, my mind is blown. Watch. Somebody says, I've called on the name of Yahuwah. You go sit down with your partner. Go, I need to introduce you to Yahuwah. Watch his name video. I am to forsake all others. See, now why is it so important? Because number 1 says what? Have no other Elohim before my face. I'm giving you the word. This is beautiful. Because he said, have no other Elohim. You go back in that bedroom and that person hadn't called on Yahuwah, you now slept with another Elohim. And you separated yourself from Yahuwah. You should not even call on Yahuwah then. Don't call on Yahuwah unless you're going to because you got to repent. And that means you're saying, I'm not going to break your commandments anymore. Because if you repent and then you knowingly and willingly go and violate it, there remains no more opportunity for you to have salvation. You are out. Go read the books. We put those on the digital scriptures. Yeah. It's simple. Everything I'm talking about, you just get the script. I'm straight from the true scriptures. Very simple. You got it. If you look and see why Yahuwah gave these people up, they went after other mighty ones. They committed adultery. So don't go sleep with somebody that doesn't call on Yahuwah, because that's adultery. That's the scripture, 7th commandment. All right. So who's your neighbor not to bear false witness with? Who is your neighbor? Well, That's the other person that calls on Yahuwah. So anybody else, Yahuwah's not talking about that. You're going to want to treat them the right way. You're going to want to do right by them, but you're also going to be wise about what you say to them, what you don't say to them, because those people are eventually going to want to come and kill you when all this thing starts to wrap up. So be careful what you say to the world. Be careful what you say to the world. Gotta make up your mind. This message today, by the way, I don't think there's milk in this message. I think this is full of meat. Jermaine, he's at work like hospital and nurses allowed on Shabbat, right? No. Do not work on the Shabbat. The world deal with that. Not us. Follow Yahuwah. You don't work on the Shabbat, period. No excuses. Do work that doesn't require you to work on the Shabbat. 10th one, coveting. That's your neighbor again. Do not covet anything that's your neighbor's, nor his wife, or their workers, or their animals, or whatever, their cars, the home. If you want what somebody else has, go work hard enough for it, and you can have it. Yahuwah will give it to you. All right? Everybody got that? So now I just established to you what I shared with my dad, and why the Sabbath is so important, because when you get committed to the Sabbath, when you commit to the Sabbath, it's unbelievable. It'll give you the strength to do the other 9. It's off the hook. Once you get Yahuwah's name right and you guard the Sabbath, you're just going to get incredible strength. Okay? Now, I'm going to go, and now that we know that the Sabbath is critical, and we've taken a look at we did a snapshot of the other commandments to make sure we even want to deal with this at all. And let me tell you something. I'm telling y'all, most of y'all listening to me, there's going to be thousands and thousands of people that are going to watch this. Most of y'all, you already know you're not going to follow Yahuwah. You already know it. Yahuwah even told us. He says most people are going to hear this and they're going to say, "Who? I can't do this. I'm out." And just enjoy your life. Just enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah. Make up your mind. Yeah. Make up your mind. Now I'm going in. Now, what are you going to do about identifying when the Sabbath is? That's the next thing. So once you say, I'm going to keep the Sabbath, how do you learn to guard it? How? You got to know when the Sabbath is. So if I ask you, when's the Sabbath? So if you ask the world, when's the Sabbath? Let's say it's on the 7th day. Then you ask people, well, when's the 7th day? You got to go scrape it down. When is the 7th day? When is it? It's so funny. Let me deal with this real quick. Hey, Lonnie, you're bringing up David and Solomon. That's before Yahusha came. They used to be able to do sacrifices to get themselves out of that situation. Lonnie, that should snap in your head just that quick. Believe it or not, they would commit egregious ways against Yahuwah. We committed adultery. But Yahuwah back then gave them a sacrificial animal blood deal to go over and over and over, and they had to keep doing it. And finally, it was so arduous that Yahuwah says, I'm not going to keep up with this crazy thing I got going on here. I'm going to come down and I'm going to once and for all settle the sacrifice thing. Now, because I'm coming down to earth, me, Yahuwah, because I'm coming down to the earth, and I'm going to let myself be pierced, right? And then I'm going to present myself to the world as the sacrificial lamb. Once you accept me and my sacrifice, because I have cut you off, you are dead in the water. You have no way whatsoever to get to me. It had got that bad again. Yahuwah said, now that I've come and you pierced me, once I give you forgiveness of those sins, once I do it because it was me that came down. YAHUAH had not yet came down and gave himself up when Dewey committed adultery. See, you got to study to show yourself approved to know what you're saying. YAHUAH sent me to tell you the truth. Many of you still want to have excuses to keep sinning. That's why you will type some of these things like that. But I'm telling you, YAHUAH loves you. He wants to be with you. And he proved it because he came here and died for you and for me. Then he says, because I paid that price, that high of a price, there's no bull, there's no lamb, there's no goat, there's none of that can replace this type of sacrifice, because that sacrifice is so high and you can't get to me now because it had got to the point where it required that sacrifice. Once you repent of committing adultery, of breaking the Sabbath, of all the other commandments, once you repent of that and I give you new life, if you knowingly and willingly go turn back and commit adultery, you have now trampled your feet on the blood of the Savior. I'm quoting scripture to you. Yeah, Lottie got that, didn't you? Look, now you got it. It's because YAHUAH came to earth himself. And now the rules of engagement and the stakes have went to the supreme high, because once we get forgiveness in the name of YAHUAH Mashiach and his blood, once we get that forgiveness, if we now willingly and knowingly sin, there remains no more forgiveness, because we have now impaled the Savior again, like they used to have to commit sacrifices over and over again. YAHUAH said that system's done. That's the old covenant, the new, what you would call the first covenant, and then here comes the renewed covenant that is perfect. And now we have a high priest that now sits on high. That's simple. Everybody like that? Now see how quickly I can deal with that? And you can deal with that? Because I'm telling you, most people, they don't want to stop sinning. Most people, I'm giving them a simple message. I'm walking down through 10 commandments. They're all simple to keep. It's that, do you want to do it or you don't want to do it? Even if you're in a complicated situation, YAHUAH just uncomplicated what you need to do. It's going to be the only way you don't do it is read the scriptures. It says, because of your worldly lust, your flesh, you haven't died to self. That's why you can't do it, because he's not in you. But if you get immersed into YAHUAH's name, he will give you the power, and then he will set it up. He'll move things around. You'll see like miracles happening. You'll see even some of these people change. Once you have been immersed, don't look at nobody else. Look at you. All right. I believe I really taught that great. I do. I feel good about the way YAHUAH gave me to teach that. And Brother Lonnie for asking in humility. And I appreciate you, Brother Lonnie, because Brother Lonnie, a lot of people got that question. Now they go, because I was just like Lonnie. Well, what do he do? And YAHUAH said, I ain't come down here and sacrifice myself yet. And by the way, that's between me and Dewey. I'm talking to you. I said, okay, yes, sir. Out. Now, let's go figure out how to keep it. I'm going to go over to, now we're going to go to Barashiyt. We're going to go to Genesis, all right? The first chapter. And this is important. When we go to Genesis, the first chapter, it's important. Because I'm going to read it from the true scriptures, this is the real translation. Now watch this. In the beginning, YAHUAH created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was a shapeless, formless substance. There was no shape or form to it. And darkness was over the surface of this deep, formless substance. And the spirit of YAHUAH hovered over the vapors of this formless substance. All you got to do is type in air. You want to understand the vapor? Air. Verse 3. And YAHUAH said, let there be light. And there was light. And YAHUAH saw the light, and that the light was good. Then, everybody pay attention, because I'm going to teach you, and you're going to learn how to tell time. You ready? Then YAHUAH divided, the key word, family, make a note. He divided the light from the darkness. What that means is the light is different from the darkness. They are not the same. He divided it. Got it? Verse 5. And YAHUAH called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Okay. Now we got a distinguisher between the light and the dark. He now tells us what a day is, and he then tells us what a night is. A day is when there's light. Night is when there's dark. Dark is never a day, and day is never a night. That's what's confused a lot of people in the world. But these are facts. All right? I'm going to read it again, verse 5. And YAHUAH called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Now listen what I'm going to say carefully. After the first day had completed, then the evening and morning came. Go get every scripture that you can get in the world and go get verse 5, and it's not going to read that way. It's going to be influenced by Judaism and by the Septuagint, which is Greek. Okay? You're right, Alan. The Sabbath is only the day, because YAHUAH didn't say, remember the Sabbath day and night. He said, remember the Sabbath day. Alan's already on to something here. Is this great? I love YAHUAH so clear. And what I'm telling you, go get every translation in the world. Let me go prove it now with old pagan King James translation. I'm going to get the pagan King James translation, and I'm going to show you terrible Judaism translation that's meant to have you break the Sabbath, but to follow the commandments of men, which is the Talmud. I'm going to read verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, how in the world is an evening and a morning a day? Everybody got the same type of translations. Go get your translation. Go type it in. Go copy and paste whatever, and put the version you got, by the way. Put what version that you got, put verse 5. I'm not going ahead because I'm going to prove all the corrupt translations in the world. I'm going to prove all the corrupt translations right now. Everybody copy and paste or type in the verse 5 of Genesis 1 of their translation. Everybody, if you don't mind, I'd like to have at least 5 or 6 of you put Genesis chapter 1, verse 5 there and put that, and then put what translation that comes from. And I'm going to prove every version you see out there right now has been tainted and is affected by Jewish and by Septuagint Greek. It's absolutely been corrupted. Every version you can think of, put it in there. Look at Marquise. Hey, Marquise, we bringing it? All right. Amber put in, and if it's got non-pagan names in it, I'm not going to say the name of those people, but everybody can see it on the screen because these are stair steps, and I believe they were doing the best they could. And welcome to our new YouTube Bronze members. I see some of y'all becoming members of our YouTube channel as well. And that's a great support because it helps offset the cost here that we do things when we're posting in there. Now watch. And put the version. So Brian, put what version you got. So once you put it, put the version. Okay, so Elisa put the English Standard Version. All right. And then we got Amber's put a version, and she's got an Elohim, which is as soon as you see the word Elohim, you know that's Jewish and Septuagint. Yahuwah is not multiple gods. Elohim, even the E tells you it's not Hebrew. That's not because there's no E in Hebrew. But if you go Elohim, that's plural. Yahuwah is not gods or mighty ones. He's one. He's Eluah. See? But look, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning one day. How does evening and a morning make up one day? Have y'all ever stopped and thought about it? Y'all just reading away. The ISR. All right, got that one. Thank you, Donna. Same thing. Ebony, what you got? She got the same translation. All right, there goes the English Standard Version. Who put that English Standard Version? Okay, that's Elisa. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning the first day. Elisa, does that make any sense to you? How is an evening? I want y'all to think of it. All right, so y'all know the evening's coming up this evening, right? All right, so evening's coming up, and then there's going to be morning, and the morning happen. Is that a day? How is the day happening between evening and the morning? When it's number one, it's all night. And it's just the night. It's just that even if you're going to try to, okay, it's what's about 12 hours, which is what makes up a day. But why would they say that the night is day in that translation? I know why. I know why. Because they want you to follow the Talmud. And eventually get you, and then the Septuagint wants you to follow Jesus, the Greek. Who else got one in here? Is that we only got a couple? I thought y'all was going to come in here and participate. Come on now. We should have already had 10 different people go, even if you had to type it in, put it in the chat so that you can prove to the world. All right. So Duran, did you paste it in there? Okay, hold on. Aleluya's got one. And Alua called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, day one. Luya, does that make any sense? Somebody put in the chat if y'all think it makes sense. Because I can't, there's no way you can make sense of that, in my opinion. You see what I'm saying, Duran? Daniel, what do you think? C Ark. What's your real name, C Ark? Because, man, you got some good comments. He goes, make it easy in layman terms, right? Yamani just said, it had us confused. Okay, there goes another version, the FBV, Deontay. God called light day, and he called darkness night. So there was evening and then morning, making day one. Y'all know that's a lie. Okay, so Sophia's got another version up, and these are some of the got the pagan names removed. Watch this. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. Y'all know that's the wrong translation. I love some of these people that have done these translations, and I know they mean well. But I kept having to translate their translations of the translation of somebody else's translation. When I'm sitting here looking at I'm looking at it. The Codex Leningrad, it don't say it that way. The oldest complete Old Testament in the world, it don't say it that way. What do you think, baby? Lena said all these translations are confusing. Here goes another version. Deontay's got God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was there was evening and there was morning the first day. There's no way the evening and morning can be the first day. Michael Nicholas said, I've thrown my King James out the door. The only reason I keep it to put it up and just knock people upside the head with it. And I'm doing it in the loving way of getting everybody to say, look, no more of these nonsense. Michael, oh, no, that's Michelle. I'm sorry, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Nicholas. And that, hey, is that our sister over in the Netherlands? Tell me if I'm right, Michelle. You in the Netherlands? Yamani said it didn't make sense to us either. We observed it both ways at one time, from evening to evening, then from morning to the next morning. But hold on, Yamani, how come you didn't observe it from the evening to the morning based on the scripture if that calls that a day? Because he says, remember the Sabbath day, and their translation tells you from the evening to the morning is a day. How come y'all didn't serve Sabbath from the evening to the morning then? Why would you go from evening to evening? Why didn't you just go evening to morning if they're calling that the first day? Okay, here goes another one. NCI Richard and Elohim, we know that's wrong, so you see Elohim, called the light day and the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening and there came to be morning the first day. And these are people who got the right name of the Father and the Son. But I'm telling you, they mean well. And I'm probably going to end up talking to these people. They're probably going to end up reaching out to me going, man, we got some fire over here over this True Scriptures thing. And I'll be like, look, man, it's all good. Just tighten it up. I'm not hating on you. I'm telling you that we're going to put the right translation out in the world. And nobody's going to be able to argue with it. Jermaine says separates the day from the night, so that would make the Bible inconsistent. That's right. It would make it contradict itself. Brother Ron said, Jay, that's why Yahushua said in YAHUAH, what? 11:9. Look at that. You're right. YAHUAH, that's John chapter 11, verse 9, 12 hours in a day. In a day. Hold on, I'm going to go one more. All right, now, hallelujah. There's another big name out there. He quoted one, an Elohim. No, that ain't right. Even it's got an E in there. No, that ain't right. Called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Are y'all hearing are y'all reading this? Everybody should be getting the greatest wake-up call, because I've never stopped and took this much time on this day thing as I'm taking right now. But because we get so many questions about the Sabbath and about calendars, about what should I do, I'm just leaning. And I'm on the Sabbath. I ain't in no rush. I'm just like with Yahushua when he was on the earth going up into the temple saying, look, come here, let's reason. Does any of this make sense? Yeah, that's right. Yamani said, we thank Yahuwah every day to have found Yahuwah's true family. This is the true family right here. We ain't saying that there ain't other families that are true out there. We're just saying you ain't got a question to wonder here, because we only promote the truth. Carolyn said, those words, evening and morning, were the first day, had messing me up for a while until Yahuwah showed me the truth. Thank you, promote the truth. My husband, me, and my boys are sitting here listening. Husband of Carolyn, hey. Boys, hey. Y'all learning the real in together. We all together. We all a family here, and everybody should be nodding. Yeah, that Jay on to something here. Jay on to something here. Okay, now have I established, because I gave it time for multiple translations to come in here. I'm saying go find every translation you can find in the world. And then you're going to see them call evening and morning a day. And that is nonsense. And the reason they're doing it is because they're following the Pharisees and don't even know it. They are following the people that hate Yahushua. and they don't even know it. And Yahuwah gave them up to be blind. Because if you don't love the truth, he'll send you a delusion. But because I love the truth, he gives me the truth and he gives me eyes to see. I praise you, Father in heaven, as Yahushua HaMashiach said when he was on the earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and the intellect, and you have revealed them unto the babes and the sucklings. To us, the old simple, old country boy, old hog farmer, you give it to me, Yahuwah. Thank you. Hallelujah. Okay, so now I'm going to actually copy and post into the chat the correct translation, and y'all tell me if it makes sense. Watch this. I'm going to do Barashiyt 1:5 from the True Scriptures. All right. Y'all want me to put it in there? Put it if y'all want me to do. I want 10 people to say, give us the real translation, Jay. 10 people got to get, just so we can keep the activity going to another level. We got the algorithm popping now. We got it popping now. We're doing the thing. Welcome all the new people coming in. We're here talking truth. We're here exposing lies. We're showing that we got to have the true scriptures. And if y'all want to know about the true scriptures and y'all want to support, get over to tsnt.org. I just put it on the screen. tsnt.org. We're doing the most authentic, real, the most accurate translation of all time outside of the original Hebrew and Aramaic writings. So those are the real deal. We own them, we got them, and we translate them the right way. Okay? So it don't matter if you're fluent in Hebrew or you're fluent in Aramaic. If you're not immersed into the name of Yahuwah, you won't translate those scriptures right. You will look at those words and you will get confused, especially if you don't know how to deal with vowel points. The Masoretes, these are like very highly intellectual people that know how to deceive. Yes, it goes on and on, K. Rebuck. Every time it goes to complete a day, it says it the wrong way. But we fixed it. All right, y'all ready? Here goes the real translation. Thank y'all. Barashiyt, that's Genesis 1:5. I'm putting it in right now. Bam. Y'all look at that translation. All right? Y'all ready? And Yahuwah called the light day, and the darkness he called night. After the first day had completed, y'all see that? So after, because he was working when? During the day. So after the first day had completed, then the evening and morning came. This formed the first date, not the first day. It was the first date. So like day one on the calendar, a date makes up a 24-hour period. A day is only the 12 hours in the period. Do y'all get it? Somebody give us, put it in the chat if that makes more sense to you. Huh? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. How simple is this? And we do it on every single verse. Joe said, Big Brother Jay got it, huh? Does that make sense, Joe? Divine Scott, does that make sense? Brian Robertson, that makes sense. Carolyn, does that make sense? Does your family, does your husband and your sons, do they understand it, Carolyn? I just want to know if the young people understand it too. Right? Y'all got that? It's the first date. Blake got it. So, but if you don't have Yahuwah in you, you're gonna confuse the world. Yeah, look at this. Look at the comments. Y'all should look at the comments. Look, NCI Richardson, I'm 18 and I get it. Hallelujah. Shalonda said it makes sense to me. Deontay said it makes complete sense. Blake said we teaching the kids. Look at it. That's the real translation. That's the real translation. Thank you, babe. Appreciate that. Honey bought me some fresh orange juice. Mixing it up. Before, I had some strawberry mango juice. What about that one, Luya? Lena got me some fresh strawberry mango juice, and I went through that. Y'all, you saw I drank that fast. Thing was, look, watch. Let me go get another one when it finishes the second day. Here you go. This is going to be even good. This is good for y'all to see. Yeah, let's get verse 8. Look, now watch. I'm going to give you verse 8 so you can see how when it completes up the second day. Watch this. Because I think y'all like this, right? Stephanie said, hey, Stephanie, strawberry mango juice? Ooh. Barashiyt, Genesis 1:8. Y'all ready for it? Y'all ready for it? Watch. And YAHUAH named the expanse above the waters, the sky and the heavens. This completed the second day. Then evening and morning came. This formed the second day. Y'all can't tell me that's not Richter scale, beautiful, understandable translation. Lisa, you got it, sis. Lisa Alden. Look, Mike, does that make sense? Mike, my brother Mike Cruz, brother. Stephanie said, I'm going to make us a... Everybody's just making sense. Y'all should be refreshed in your spirit on the Shabbat. This should be like, yeah, I love that type of translating. You see, when we hand this, my child, when he comes of age of accountability, which is 20, he going to have the real word in his hand. Sean, you see it? My brother Sean, look, we're going to give the child, we're going to have it for the rest of our days. And then we're going to give it to him. Look at NCI Richard. Got it. Come on, NCI Richard. Day is the day and night, but a day is the light, and the dark is the night. It's all clearly identified. There is no more confusion going on. Sylvia said, thanks for removing the indoctrination. Yamani said, crystal clear, direct. Emily said, it's clean, Jay. My wife Lena said, light means day, and the sun comes during the day. Shalonda said, it's clear, no confusion. Suhail said, I can't wait to hold. How many of y'all can't wait to get the true scriptures in your hands? Huh? How many of y'all want the true scriptures and y'all want it here? And how many of y'all want millions of true scriptures around the world? How many of y'all want us cutting deals and getting them in hotels and getting them in resorts and coming up with strategies to where everybody all of a sudden starts seeing the truth? Huh? How many of y'all want the true scriptures? That's why we got to go market like crazy. That's why your support at tsnt.org is critical, because you're part of everybody getting this. And I'm telling y'all, when y'all got the true scriptures, hey, William, my man William Pollard, when everybody got the true scriptures, do y'all understand the weapon that's in your hand? How many of y'all understand now the weapon that will be in your hand? That means everybody you come up against, all of a sudden, you're going to shut the mouths of the proud, of the wise and the intellect. And you, baby, you're the most least likely. Come on, Alan. Y'all know that most of us are the least likely. We don't look like it, and we're not educated like they think we should be. Boy, y'all popping. Y'all rocking the chat. Y'all rocking the chat. So we're doing the telethon again tomorrow. Y'all make sure y'all don't miss it. 10 a.m. Ladies, but 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We handle kingdom business tomorrow. We do it every day, and then we have these focus days. But y'all going to be on some other planet. When y'all go talk to people about the word, you're going to watch. We're going to tear strongholds down. You're going to see so many churches get ripped into shreds because their members are going to get their hands on the true scriptures, and they're going to go to the pastors, and they're going to say, no, wait a minute. Why are you teaching this way? I'm telling you, we're going to shake it up. You want to know why? Because Yahushua, when he was here, now YAHUAH Mashiach said, do not think I came to bring peace to this earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. I came to divide. The word that I gave to you today, just like in the beginning when it says to divide the day from the night, the darkness from the light. This word is a divider. Choose this day who you going to serve. But as for me and my house, we're going to serve YAHUAH. And we're going to keep the Sabbath the right way because we know how to keep time. Look at Blake said, this is tight. I'm going to keep reading. Blake, I'm going to keep reading. I'm going down to verse 14. What are y'all going to do with this? Because this is Richter scale, right? Now, before I get into, watch this. Before I get into verse 14, I'm going to read verse 12 from the True Scriptures. And the earth produced grass and herbs that produce seed according to their kind, and the trees that produce fruit, which has its seed inside of them according to their kind. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. This completed the third day. Then evening and morning came. This formed the third day. And YAHUAH said, now you're going to tell us how to keep time. Now you're going to tell us how to keep time. And YAHUAH said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens. Pay attention, y'all. To divide the day from the night. So the purpose of the lights that are in the expanse is to do what, family? To divide the day from the night. Stop calling the night day and stop calling the day night. Stop. It's not right. Because you're going against YAHUAH because he told you I'm dividing it. And YAHUAH said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to divide the day from the night. And the purpose of these lights is this. And let these lights be for signs, for appointed times, for days, and for years. That's calendation. That's the calendar. That's it. That's the only way we're supposed to keep time is based on these lights that are in the sky. Now watch, he goes into detail. All right. He says it's to be for signs. Make a note, because I need to check y'all on it one more time before we end this up today. And appointed times, and for years, and for days, and for years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And YAHUAH made the two great lights. The greater light was called the sun. Now he's defining, so he's leaving us with no doubt in our brain. What is the greater light? It's called the sun. And it's meant, y'all ready? To rule the day. What rules the day? The sun rules the day. You understand? Remember the Sabbath day. And what rules the day? It's the sun. And the lesser light was called the moon to rule the night and the stars. So the moon rules the night and it rules the stars. And YAHUAH set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light up on the earth and to rule over the day and over the night. Say it again, verse 18. And to rule over the day and over the night and to divide the light from the darkness. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. This completed the fourth day. Then evening and morning came. This formed the fourth date. Does everybody understand? Ebony just said our 5-year-old son gets it. Is this simple? How many of y'all like me to put chapter 1 of Barashiyt up on the free downloads? It's coming up on the digital. Y'all gonna get all 50 chapters of this on the digital collection. So if you are a package member holder, so if you go over to tsnt.org and you're bronze package or above, you got free access to the digital scriptures. There's already multiples on there now. So there's full books on there right now. Full books that we've got on there. So we're taking about 10 of the books and we're putting them on the digital platform along with power study guides and tools. And see, y'all see the way I'm training you? That's the way we're going to be training on the digital collection. So when you're on the digital collection, I'm going to go through each chapter sometime or another as time permits, and I'll break it down to where you get these verses in your soul. That way I've done my job when Yahuwah says, make them disciples. Go make disciples out of all nations. Are y'all with me? Does everybody understand it? So we now know we got a divider in the day and the night. That means the sun does the day. That's when we keep the Sabbath day. Now remember in verse 14, he said, in verse 14, he said the purpose of these lights are for signs and for appointed times and for days and for years. Now this is important. Why is it important? Because you remember how we opened this up over in Shamut 31? Y'all remember? So if we go over to Shamut, Exodus 31, I'm going to swing over there again real quick. Because now, remember the word, the first purpose of the lights, the sun and the moon, and all the kids are listening to me, you make sure you get your parents supported on this. You say, Mom and Daddy, we got to do this. Mom and Daddy, we got to do this. Well, Brother Jay's teaching, Yahuwah sent him to tell us this, and y'all as the children, y'all be in agreement so that Yahuwah will be pleased with you. So in 31:12, listen, Exodus 31:12. Then Yahuwah spoke to Moshe saying, speak to the children of Israel saying, my Shabbats, you are to guard by all means, for it is a sign between me and you forever throughout your generations to know that I, Yahuwah, am setting you apart. So what's the first purpose of the lights? Is to be for signs. What's the big sign? The Shabbat. How do you keep the Shabbat? Based upon the great lights. All right, now go to Shamut 12. Now we got to go to Exodus 12 so that we can know how to properly do what Yahuwah wants us to do with these signs, with these great lights. We got to know what to do. Yahuwah, will you tell us what to do, Father? Will you leave us out here in the dark, Father, to where we don't know what to do? Are you going to do that, Yahuwah? Yahuwah says no. When I bring you out of the land of Matsri, that's Egypt, I deliver you out of the house of bondage. That's your sin. So when he brings you out of misery, out of your sin, Yahuwah says, I'm going to bring you out, and then I'm going to tell you how to keep time, just like I told them when I brought them out of Egypt. Shamut, Exodus chapter 12. Yahuwah told Moshe and Aaron while they were in the land of Matsri, that's Egypt, saying, this new moon shall mark the beginning of months for you. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Come on. Now, nobody can get around Exodus 12, 1 and 2. Impossible to get around. You can't play no games that the moon is not meant to set the beginning of the month because Yahuwah said it does. Are you going to call Yahuwah a liar? Huh? That's right, Rush. You think he says in Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, that the beast power is going to change times and laws? So Yahuwah had to come back and remind them because they lost track of how to keep time in Egypt, in Matsri. So he told them before they left, he said, now listen to me. This new moon shall mark the beginning of months. He didn't say month. He said the months. for you. And then he goes on, he clarifies and he says, it shall be the first month of the year. Remember what those lights are for? For signs, for appointed times, for days, and for years. So now we know how the month is supposed to start. It's supposed to start per YAHUAH on the new moon. So once I have a new moon, I observe that new moon day. Then 7 days from then marks the Sabbath for the next 4 Sabbaths until the new moon comes back around. Now listen to what I'm going to tell you, family. I said this to my dad today. I said, is this helping anybody? I like that. Hyacinth Baker. Lena, look what Hyacinth put. Let's get a brochure on the Shabbat, the calendar. Yeah, I like that. Is this helping anybody? How I'm training on the Shabbat? Is this helping anybody? Right? Now pay attention. This is a fact, what I'm going to tell you. Every single month, the month will never, ever, 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 never, ever be longer than 30 days. It will never, ever, 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 ever be shorter than 29 days. There will never be a 28-day month or a 27-day month or a 26-day month. And there will never be a 31-day month. The new moon will do its rotation in either 29 or 30 days every single month. Every single month. Month is where we get the word month from, the moon. Y'all with me? So every single month will not ever be longer than 29, will never be shorter than 29 days, but it will never be longer than 30 days every month. Y'all got that? Now, what we do at Promote the Truth is YAHUAH put on our heart, just like the time of the Sanhedrin, because people were confused on how to do it. So they picked the leaders who knew how to track the new moon, and they would do an announcement to the nation, the new moon is coming up here. Because once you study it enough, which makes you get tied to creation, that lets you know there's a creator, then you know how to keep time. Now, because YAHUAH has increased knowledge, he's given us that are off the chart studiers of time and the moon and the sun. We study it. YAHUAH put on our heart, go find the first place in the world where the sun comes up, where the sun breaks. So go find that place. So we've identified that place in the world where the sun comes up, the first in the world. The furthermost east point where the sun comes up, we've identified. YAHUAH put on our heart, he says, when the month is over, which means there's conjunction. Conjunction means there's no more light being shown from the moon. It's completely dark. When it's completely dark, at that point of the world where that sun breaks the first, all right, that is new moon day for the world. Now, you don't need us. You can go do your own thing. You can go do your own thing. You don't need us to promote the truth. I'm telling you what YAHUAH put on our heart to do. Just like he did with the Sanhedrin. Now, our calendar, the way we keep it, is the only calendation we know of in the world that puts the entire world on the same Sabbaths, on the same festival days in the world. It's the only one in the world. So if you go to Promote the Truth and you click over, you hover over, Lena put that link in the chat. I'll get it. Matter of fact, I'll put it in the chat. So if you go to Promote the Truth, I'll make sure it goes in the chat. And you hover over appointed times, you're going to see where it says YAHUAH's calendar. All right. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if you click on this link and you scroll to the bottom, all right, I just put the link in there. So if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see where we have told you on the Gregorian Roman calendar. You'll see where we tell you when the Sabbath is. Like on this upcoming pagan day Sunday will be a new moon. It's going to be a new moon. So you just simply go look at that calendar. You'll see it says new moon. And who's the new moon for? On our calendar. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. If it's Sunday your time, when it comes to be Sunday, when you wake up in the first thing in the morning on Sunday your time, wherever you're at in the world, that's new moon day. Based on our calendation of how YAHUAH said, look, at the end time, I'm going to increase knowledge. Now watch. When YAHUAH comes back in the New Jerusalem, do you think that the world are going to be observing the Sabbath on different times? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. When the New Jerusalem comes down, nobody's going to be doing it on Friday and this person on Saturday and this person on Thursday. Nobody's going to be doing it. Everybody's going to be from one new moon to the next new moon. So YAHUAH is training us now through people that carry the real word with the real scriptures. He's training us how to go train the world. You can do it or not. You don't have to follow what we're saying. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you what we've observed. And we were watching the confusion of these different apps going, well, the new moon, something. Look, the furthest point, they keep everybody in the whole world on the same track. All right, what can you do on New Moon Day? You can cook. You can do nature stuff. Can't do any business. Can't do any transaction. You can drive somewhere if you want, but you can't put no gas in the car. You can't buy nothing. That's it. Simple. Like us, on New Moon Day, we're going up to the river. It's right up the road here. It's probably about 5-10 miles away. So we're going to prepare everything, right? And going up there. Now we can cook if you want. Light a fire. Just can't do business transactions. That's it. Sabbaths, you don't leave your gates. Stay in your house or within your perimeters, and you don't cook. Simple. And if y'all want to know how to follow YAHUAH, what I'm talking about, go to Promote the Truth. Hover over. We got everything I'm telling you over there. Hover over Yah's covenant, and the fourth link underneath there says how to follow YAHUAH. I'll put that link in the chat too. Here's how you, and it explains what to do on Shabbats, what to do on the festivals, when all that's there. Okay. So there you go. Did this help anybody? Because I've showed you the importance why Sabbath is important, but not just why Sabbath is important. When to keep Sabbath is critical. And I've established we got to do it based upon the new moon. And we're following the ways of when they left out of Matsri, out of Egypt, and everybody was confused. And YAHUAH brought them all under order through Masha and Aaron. And he's bringing everybody under order, in my opinion. He's doing it to promote the truth. I believe he called us to bring it into order. What y'all think? I believe he called us to bring it into order. And we're not arguing with anybody. We want 144 of us to go, yep, that's a good way to do it. It's scripturally sound. We got the word. We know when the day is, when the night is. We got all that. We're going to stay together on this. 144 of us going to do it this way. 144 of us going to do it this way. And so this has been an extended Shabbat, but I felt that it was needed to break this down to where everybody really, really, really gets it. Did y'all really get it? Did y'all appreciate it? Because I love y'all. I honor y'all, man. I'm telling you, we're here. We don't talk negative about people. We don't gossip. We guard the commandments. We keep the feast days. We keep it set apart ways. We eat what's real food. We don't violate the dietary food laws because we know what we can and can't eat based on what is food. Just because you can eat it don't mean it's food. Like I'm going to drink out of this glass, but the glass itself is not food. Just like pork is not food. Even though I can eat it, it's not food. It's got a meaning. It's meant to clean up the earth. Like the glass is meant to hold the drink. All right? It's not meant for me to eat. So we don't do negativity, like Ann said. We don't argue. We don't complain. Kingdom business. Daniel came through. So if y'all love this word, spread this word. Share it out. Share it out. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'll be back here tomorrow. I told you I'm going like 7 days straight, rocking the house. And we're gonna continue to ride up, man. We're gonna continue. And y'all do me a favor. If y'all love the translations, let's get it out to more people, please. Everything you do, we got people that gave $3, and all of a sudden YAHUAH gave more seed. That's what I'm noticing. And then they were able to do more. And some people started with 3, and they've already progressed their way up to silver and gold. We got some people with 3 went up to 1,000 because all of a sudden they said, "Y'all, it's like something released." YAHUAH will give seed to the sower. He wants this word throughout the whole world. And you can do that by going to tsnt.org. You can see about the project. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. What I'm saying. Tomorrow's a telethon, so it's even better than me just coming on live because I got my beautiful bride. So 10 a.m. tomorrow here on YouTube and on Facebook. Will y'all join us back here? Invite people. 10 a.m. I'm going to release another one of the chapters of the true scriptures tomorrow during the telethon. So put your seatbelts on. I'll catch y'all then. Love you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Love y'all.